So for those of you that don't know me, my name's Toby Castle. I'm one of BBC News' deputy news editors, and I've spoken to a few people this evening. My link with the John Schofield Trust is quite simple. I was one of the first mentees on the first mentoring scheme that the John Schofield Trust ran 8 years ago. It was a fantastic experience for me as being on that scheme, and then mentoring and then becoming a trustee has been something that has been really important to me. What the John Schofield Trust is all about is about supporting developing young journalists, and that is something that I would say a lot of organisations perhaps have let go in this time of constrained budgets and so on. It's something that we are really we think is extremely important. And this evening is all about celebrating the mentoring scheme. It's about thanking the people in the room that were mentees and mentors of last year's scheme, and it's about welcoming and introducing mentees and mentors on this year's scheme. And a very nice social event in this room. John, I never met. I would have loved to have met him. As a lot of you will know, he was killed by a Croatian sniper in 1995. There are a lot of people in this room that did know John. He was friendly, collegiate, and he wanted to succeed. And that is ultimately what all the Trust is about. It's about helping people to succeed and hopefully make friends that will help them in their careers going forward. And for those people that didn't know John, there are people in the room that knew him very well. One of whom is obviously his widow Susie, who without this trust would be absolutely nothing. And I'd just like, there you are Susie, so I was looking around the room for you, and I'd just like to say from personally, this is brilliant, and yet again we're here celebrating the scheme, and it's thanks to you. So I wrote a few things about the scheme, and you'll hear a little bit more about how we hope it will pan out for the people on the scheme. But it's about one-to-one mentoring. The best journalists in the country, picking some of you up here, and it's about sharing experiences, developing skills, getting feedback, insight into the industry, and context, often the most important thing that people need. The scheme is challenging, it's stimulating, and it's ultimately hugely rewarding. But ultimately, it's really about what you both put in, the mentor and the mentee. And I've asked Paul, who's Paul Harrison from Sky News, one of our other trustees, to say a few words about just the scheme itself. He's going to just talk about, very briefly, some tips and things, because we want the scheme really to work. And we want it to work for you. So, Paul, over to you.
Thanks, Toby. A short one. Look, it's fantastic just looking around the room to see, obviously, lots of new faces, but quite a lot of familiar faces as well. And I think that's testament to the mentor-mentee partnership, that people seem to be very eager to come back time and time again, because it really does work. The new mentees, I can see some unfamiliar faces. Well, you think that it's all about you. But actually, it is all about you. But I also wanted to talk a bit about the mentors as well. They return year after year, principally because they want to pair up with one of the new mentees. They're quite a small selection here, but they are part of a wider, bigger pot, if you like, of some of the country's top journalists. They really are highly regarded in our industry. So who are they? Well, they're journalists who have, in some cases, just a few years of experience, but also journalists who have anything up to 30 years and sometimes plus experience as well. What's good is that they are not just based down here in London, they're based all over the country, and that allows us to get out to the far-flung reaches of the country as well, to reach all of you mentees who've come quite far today. Ewan Murray, I don't know where you are. Hi, Ewan. You travelled probably the furthest today. I saw your tweet earlier as you were taking off on a plane from the Shetland Islands. And your mentor, STV's Deputy Head of News, Suzanne Lord. Hello, hi, welcome, thank you for coming. So you can see that people are travelling from a long distance, and we're not just London-centric, we're trying to reach out across the whole country. They are producers, they're programme editors, news editors, domestic and international correspondents, presenters, editors, and heads of news. So they really do cover the whole spectrum of what we do in our business. I suppose the question you're probably wondering is, why do they want to take part in the John Schofield Trust scheme? Firstly, and I think most importantly, they were where you stand now. They were once perhaps in a room like this, or perhaps not in a room like this, eager to tap into someone or be, if you like, picked up by someone who can give them advice, who can give them a point in the right direction, support, and probably one of the most important things is advice. Because you simply are entering into a new newsroom, things are very unfamiliar, there are pitfalls and drawbacks, and there are also great things that happen too, and there are ways of negotiating those things, and they know how to negotiate all of this as well. Thirdly, they've got massive egos, and they love a glass of wine, which is why they're here. But seriously, they've been there, they've done that, they've got the t-shirt. There's one or two people here who've got a whole wardrobe full of t-shirts. And they are very keen to show them off, not because they're egotistical, but because they are proud of our industry, they're proud of what we do day in, day out, and they want those coming into the industry to have all the tools they need to negotiate that path to the destination you need to get to, whatever your ambitions are. So at this point, I just really want to thank the mentors, really. As I say, they are a small number here of a much larger pot, but I just wanted a round of applause to the mentors, really, for taking their time. They are obviously very busy a lot of the time. How does it work? Big question. Well, we try to match the right mentor with the right mentee, vice versa. Just to make sure that they are most suited to each other so they get the most out of their year. It's not always easy. It is not Love Island. But we try to make sure that the partnerships work. So on that note, I'd quite like to welcome up a former partnership which I believe worked very well, the editor of 5 News, Cait FitzSimons, and Sky News output producer Kirsty Hickey, to tell us a bit about their experiences.
Don't have notes, so it's probably a little bit more shambolic than the previous people. So I think the reason that I decided to become a mentor is a lot of what Paul said. I'd been really lucky in my career to have some amazing editors and senior staff mentor me, and I wanted to put something back. So when I was given the chance to take part, I jumped at it, and I was lucky enough to be paired with Kirsty. And it started out quite casually. She came and met me one lunchtime at work. We sat in a cafe and gossiped massively about everybody who worked at Sky, which was great. Yes. And it was really interesting because although we had very different, I'd gone this sort of input route, and I think Kirsty may go in a different direction. I think that we both had similar kind of backgrounds, and I think we both had similar ideas about the world, so actually we sort of matched it quite quickly. And it was also completely not like me. She's very bright and obviously going to do very well in her career. So it really was a great kind of opportunity for me to share a bit of experience that I'd had, but also to learn from her and to get an idea of what it's like being in the industry now and starting out. It's so different. And as a boss, actually that's really helped me understand the more junior members of my team and kind of have a bit of insight into the things that they might be struggling with and not necessarily feel confident that they can share with me, the boss. Whereas Kirsty was very happy to come to me, and it might be little things about office politics, all the way up to, you know, challenges going for jobs and whether or not she should put herself forward or how she should approach somebody over pay. all the stuff that I could have done with, really, I think. And being an outsider, it really helped because I didn't have any vested interest. I just wanted her to get the best possible experience out of her career and try and support her in that. And it's 2 years now, and we're still in touch. And she puts up with me going on at her, and we'll continue to do that. And I hope to see her go on from strength to strength. And now I'm going to shut up and let her tell you about it.
Hey, so exactly the same as what Cait said. I came into, not this room, another room 2 years ago. And I was super scared, came in, you see the whole room, you know people here, but you don't necessarily know their names, or you see like faces on TV and you're like, oh my god, that's, I think for me it was like Evan Davis was here, and I was like, oh, can't say that. And then as well, like, you've got your own team members here, but again, coming in, I felt as an apprentice when I first came in at 19, I was very kind of overwhelmed by all the very important people here, and kind of just put myself out there, said hi, everyone's nervous, everyone's scared. So it kind of worked well for me, and there was a few apprentices. Kathy says this year there's a lot more. So it's good in the sense that you can all go around together, say hi. I think as well it's a good kind of unit, because you then end up seeing people out on the road. So the people I would have met here, I then went out to do other things, and you'd see them out on the road on budget day, and you'd say hi, and it's kind of just nice to see someone there that you know who's kind of at the BBC, and one that's they're spoken to kind of a politics person, you can like grab them after and be like, oh, thank you very much, or vice versa. And so yeah, it was quite good. We kind of met once every 4 weeks or so, and for me it was really helpful, just because it is quite, when you first go into a newsroom at such a young age, it is quite overwhelming to see so many important figures there. And I think just on simple things, kind of how to chat to someone who you really want to be in a team with, and how you approach certain situations, it was just really good to kind of speak that through with Cait. And then, yeah, it just kind of went through the year, and then I was given the opportunity to go into Cait's newsroom, speak to people there, and again, it was good to see them out on the road at places, and just to kind of have another sort of team that you could say hi to and be there with. And yeah, I think that's kind of something else neat. And we're still friends now. I think that's the thing as well.
Thanks.
No, it's just so like my mentoring finished 2 years ago, well, a year ago.
Yeah.
But I can still go to Cait and be like, I've got a super big situation that I need to talk about with you. Is it okay if we talk about it? Or well, no, I used to call her and be like, I have a situation. But now I'll text her and be like, can I talk to you in the evening? And she'll be like, yes. So yeah, no, it's really nice, and it's just kind of good to have an outside person looking on this situation as well. So Cait was at Sky, so it was good to kind of hear her viewpoints when I was kind of pushing in the direction that I kind of didn't want to go down, to then kind of tackle it in a positive way, as opposed to kind of seeing it as kind of a negative step. So that was quite good. And yeah, I think it's really lovely to have someone that you can kind of go to if there's any problems. So I'm very grateful for the John Schofield Trust. Yeah.
Right, thank you both very much. Kirsty, definitely got a live career in front of you. I think just picking up on a couple of things that was said there, just a couple, I won't be long. Cait said that she also learned from Kirsty, and I think that's important to mention, is that although it is about you, the mentees, the mentors do get a lot out of it as well. I've mentored a couple of times, and you feel great about it. You learn things that you didn't know. Often they are people who are younger than you as well, so I also feel a little bit more in touch, just a little bit. Love Island, 9 p.m. ITV2. And they're still in touch, and that's great, because although it is a year you're involved in this partnership, you continue to stay in touch. It doesn't always work that way, but it has worked with you, and we would certainly encourage that it's not just a 12-month thing. It can move on beyond that as well. In terms of meeting, face-to-face meetings, I know you both met quite regularly. You were both in London. That does help. I also know that there are geographical challenges. We mentioned obviously Ewan, who's travelled a long way, but we try to, where possible, make sure that your mentors are within spitting distance, and if they are not, don't be put off by that, because the mentees are able to get in touch with Kathy, and we have a bursary which will help with train tickets, help with flights, So you shouldn't be out of pocket. There should not be in any way a financial reason why you guys can't get face-to-face and talk about stuff. It doesn't have to always be face-to-face. It can be on the phone, it can be on WhatsApp, it can be on email, but also we try to encourage a good 6 meetings per year. But remember, financial problems should not be an issue because we can sort that out for you. So that just leaves me to wrap up finally to say good luck to the mentees. Keep in touch with your mentors, phone them up, hound them, and have a great time. Okay, thanks.
Especially around this room, there are guidelines. Please take them home and read them as your bedtime reading for tonight, and that will help you through your year of mentoring tips and things like that. If you do have any issues, don't just sit there and twiddle your thumbs. Contact Cathy, and Cathy is your first port of call, and she can liaise and try and get wheels happening. Mentees, don't be inhibited by your mentor thinking, I can't possibly call Jonathan right now. I can't. You can. Just go out there and badger them, pester them. Have a great year. Thank you.
Susie says every year she doesn't ever want to speak, but she can do it better than Paul and I put together, I have to say. So I'll just do some other very quick parish notices. Emma was on the door, I hope, asking everybody about GDPR. Sorry, I've got to do it. But please, if you want to keep hearing from us, you know what to do. There's a survey which the outgoing cohort, we really need your feedback, because that tells us how well we're doing and what we need to improve on and all of those kind of things. And I just very quickly wanted to talk about future plans and some thank yous. So future plans very quickly. Obviously, Paul and I are extremely diverse standing here, but the John Schofield Trust is all about now getting candidates from a more socially diverse background into newsrooms. If you follow us on Twitter, you will see that that is really something that we want to push, and we want to be able to announce, or we have announced, and we want to reinforce tonight that we're going to be doing something very special this year. We are working in partnership with an online e-mentoring organisation called Brightside, who you may have heard of. They're really good. And we are going to try and get and support Year 12 students out there who want to get into newsrooms from socially diverse backgrounds. And we need your help. We need the mentees to become mentors. Our mentees are brilliant and are going to be brilliant and would be really good mentors to Year 12. That's people who don't know anybody in this industry. They don't really know what a journalist is. They don't really know what the media is about. And if we want to, in the future, represent the audiences that we're trying to reach, then we need to have people from different backgrounds within our newsroom. It's something I truly believe in, and something that the Trust is trying to do. And that's something. So if you are interested in becoming one of our pilot mentees, which will be brilliant, I promise, please see Cathy, and we'll be putting something out as well, asking for people to get involved. That's from this September. And don't worry, you'll get all the training and all the support and all of those kind of things. But I can explain a bit more, or any of the other trustees. The other thing to mention, and Matthew Price is just in my line, which is great, is about masterclasses. So this is something you may have read about, heard about, but this is something that we started trialling. David Dimbleby did one, and we're going to be doing another. We're doing one, Jill, aren't we, later in the year? But we've got Matthew Price, Andy and Sherwood coming. The team is coming back together to relive their experiences at Haiti and to talk about working in hostile environments, producer, correspondent, and all of those things, and other experiences. As a double act, I think that will be really good fun, and that is on the 26th of June, being hosted at the BBC. Limited numbers, but open to mentees. Again, Cathy will be putting something out, but that's something that we really want to try and do, and it kind of talks to what we were just talking about, which is about the mentees becoming, a bit of a team and coming together and learning, from industry professionals and best practice and all of those kind of things. And then finally I said thank yous. Firstly, Jonathan Charles, who's here, formerly the BBC, from the European Bank Research Reconstruction, who are hosting us. You are standing in their wonderful building and drinking their wine and their beer and eating some of their snacks. And we thank you truly for that, because it's extremely good. I've also just spotted Matt Peacock from Vodafone. His support and Vodafone support has been extremely important to us. John Riley, Sky News, are also extremely generous donors, and also we've talked briefly about the bursary scheme. Martin Lewis, money saving expert, is also a funder of the trust. We are always looking for more money, so if you know anybody with deep pockets, come and see us, or if you want to donate, please do, etc., etc. But the trust can only grow and do all these really important things if we have more money, and that's something that we as trustees are getting down and dirty with in the coming year. But that leaves me all to just say have a great evening. I look forward to talking to hopefully all of you at some point in the evening, and having a great year. So thanks, and enjoy yourselves.